welcome back. It's already been 3 years. It's amazing how far we've come. Even though my last video was a very long time ago. Enough filler. Let's get started. Now I am putting this out there before I say anything. I can't confirm or deny that these are real. This entire series is completely non-biased of the legitimacy of these events. I focus on the events that can be proven and realistic enough to cover. If they are fake, I do not care. I'll still cover it like it's real. Now, what happens behind the scenes? I can tell you. I hate to bother you, but can I ask you some questions about any spiritual activities that has occurred off camera, or do you choose not to talk about it?
I have to think. There's stuff on camera I can't find, like voices, off camera. We've seen shadows. Bridget has had this voice she has heard that wake her up like 3 times now. Always negative. Was like, B, and she wakes up.
That's right, Michael Green has finally viewed these videos. Followed me on Twitter right after. About 5 minutes later he tags me on a post. He's quite confused. In his eyes, it seems that he is convinced that the Ouija board could be an explanation. He's not wrong, more on that later. But the Ouija board isn't the whole story. In fact, we may have to look at his residence to find something. Especially on Michael's living room, and the pool house. And maybe 20 feet under the foundation of his home. Let's talk about what we already know. Somerville established a zone for this property in 1989. The home began construction in 2003, and completed in 2004. The home was purchased by Roy Mock and his wife. In 2016 Michael Green purchased the home. Little did he know about what happened in his home in 2013. And what happened before Somerville established its zone. Let's look back to 1847 when Somerville became a town, soon to be city. Land was purchased and taken by multiple sellers and settlers. Remember, in the 19th century there was no regulations for land. People purchased land the way the owner left it. Throughout South Carolina there was many abandoned grave sites that were from previous families and original natives before the state came about. Typically, most landowners who had these sites flattened them out, to increase its value. Unfortunately no official records for these grave sites exist, just estimated locations and boundaries by the people of South Carolina. Here's a rendering of potential grave sites in the area. Michael's property is right on the edge of one. But what's interesting is that this area was also an execution center for a short period of time. Remember, people have populated this area for hundreds of years, possibly even longer. You may be asking yourself, what does all this have to do with Michael's ghost problem? Well, when that many people are disturbed from their peace after death, some of which were brutal. Then...
Oh no.
You see it?
Oh God. How did that happen? Come on.
It's on.
What?
It's on.
I'm not going in there.
Okay, so...
Oh,
What?
the light.
I'm leaving, bro! Well, add it!
No! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's off.
It's off. Which one?
There's something behind.
Sleep on the couch.
I'm sorry, but
air, you think?
Last time that do you need help?
No, actually I got the door. What if I want to put my hand through the glass?
The light is on.
What?
Why is that on?
A noise come from like that area. So oh God! Oh my God!
Look, dude, it's a freaking person. It's a person. And it walks, no, wait, watch. Mike! It disappears! How are you gonna...
Hello? I'm getting out of here, guys. I can't.
Sid, is that light on? Oh no, come on, what?
Michael himself even mentioned the historical background of his area.
So the history of this area is crazy. There was a lot of hunting and people were hung. It was a horrible, horrible time in Charleston history.
There could be like a graveyard around here too.
Please don't. Not today. Not during this, please.
What?
It was right. The first thing that came up was something about 1816. That's great.
I'm scared, Michael.
But we didn't mention one thing. The original owner of Michael's house had passed away in 2013. But is it Roy who's doing all this? Not at all. In fact, based of Michael's vlog, it seems that he's pretty much idle, only appearing in certain areas of the house when the ghost box is being used. But why is he doing this? We may never find the answer.
Dude, oh my God. When the car...
Let's post
These
photos.
are pictures. Of who? What? Dude, what the heck?
Let's get this out of the way. Who's that kid? Well, as it turns out, he's actually not related to Roy, despite the fact that Elijah's last name is Mock as well. So the bigger question is, where did he come from? And why is he in this property? Well, the whereabouts of Elijah is still unclear. As of 2019, he's declared dead after being missing for almost 20 years. But now this makes no sense. As Elijah does not have any association with Roy, what happened for him to be in the property? Even the 216 videos that have anything to do with ghosts on both channels don't explain anything. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that will remain a mystery in this series. Now, let's take a look at this scene.
And I'm not saying that it's the Ouija board that did all this. I realize I would have still lost my father, but what are the odds that we use the Ouija board and my father is diagnosed with cirrhosis? We use the Ouija board again and my sister catches on fire and Lazy is diagnosed with heart failure. Then we use it one more time and the next day again, my father ends up in the hospital where he dies. And then Lazy. I don't know for sure that it was the Ouija board, but I'm starting to wonder if we something that we shouldn't have. Everybody tells you don't the Ouija board, don't do it, and we did it and look what happened. It may have ruined our lives. We're constantly hearing voices on camera and hearing noises off camera and seeing things and reflections and shadows. And it seems like it's a kid or something. Remember the one time they had a shadow of a kid at the back door?
Oh my God.
It's almost like we're haunted by a child. And I don't know what it is. We hear children laugh and we hear footsteps running and I don't know what's going on. And I'm wondering what we did to cause it.
Let's finally talk about that Ouija board. So, the number one question right now, is the Ouija board responsible for Michael's haunting? Yes and no, let me explain. Earlier in the video we discussed about the property's past, and how potentially hundreds of people died there. I even touched on it on past videos. So even if Michael never bought or even used a Ouija board, he'd still have some sort of activity. But here's the catch, Ouija boards have a stigma of containing evil spirits. While that may be true, using a game like that in an already unsettled environment isn't a good idea. This most likely bothers them, and if any evil entities are drawn to the game, there could be a chance that this Ouija board may not have started the hauntings but possibly worsened it. So, what's the answer to Michael's question? It is, the Ouija board is contributing to his hauntings, the ghost box gives them attention, and possibly annoy them. But now I have a new concern. Back in 2018, when I made Angry Grandpa's Ghost Part 5, I mentioned that dogs and cats can see spirit and entities, stating that they always look directly at them while not moving out of them being frightened, while others attempt to scare it away but instead, most likely scaring the owner unintentionally. This is where my concern comes in. Young children can also see entities. They have this remarkable ability until the age of 4, I don't understand why or how this happens. Mia isn't shown alone a lot in the vlogs but I've noticed something. It could just be nothing but hear me out. When alone or carried by Bridget and not given attention to, she seems to keep looking at two directions. Either up into the attic, or at the south corner of the living room. That's the corner where the silver play buttons are located. The attic is already a hotspot for unusual activity, but why the south corner? Well, an anonymous source mentioned that the south corner of his living room is where he collapsed, went to the hospital right after, then he suddenly passed on March 23, 2013. This could be a reason why she's looking at that direction, but infants and young children usually only pay attention to familiar faces and sounds, so this confuses me more. We may never know. So, after 3 years of making these videos, what is the answer to the question everyone's asking? Is Kid Behind a Camera haunted? No, Kid Behind a Camera is not haunted. But Kid Behind a Camera's house is haunted. Michael Green lives in a historical disturbed area. He's gotten himself into some trouble with the Ouija board and probably paid a sacrifice unintentionally, but the hauntings he's encountered are just entities trying to settle, even after their grave sites were flattened to sell the land, and have that land commercialized into real estate when Somerville was expanding, then having the previous home flattened to build the current house that stands today. Elijah Mock is a mystery of who he was, and why he was there. The future of Michael's paranormal hauntings will remain the same. A marginal risk of activity is expected if, and only if the ghost box and Ouija board are no longer in use. And as for Angry Grandpa, he is safe, most likely if he ever wants to check up on Michael. An entry point as his ashes. Well, we did it. We completed the series with a conclusive answer to the long-lasting question. I would like to thank Michael for reaching out and confirming my evidence. I also would like to thank all the viewers who watched the series grow into what it is now. This is the last video of the series, and it was interesting throughout the process. I even learned a few things along the way. I'm sure you did too. From Michael and Cherry. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.